You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
It's Friday nights with Nautica de la Cruz.
Well, thank you so very much, Mo. Mo, I told you maybe about a month and a half ago that there was a Skateboard Hall of Fame museum that I was going to go, and I finally went.
You went?
I went, yes. And let me tell you something, Mo. I don't really geek out off of like boy stuff, but I was really geeked out on this. The Skateboard Hall of Fame and Museum is in Simi Valley. It is a vibrant tribute to the rich history and culture of skateboarding, established to honor the sport's most influential figures and documents in evolution. The museum is a must visit. It's for enthusiasts, and for curious visitors. And they do get visitors, anyone from the age of 12 all the way, the owner said, up to 75 years of age.
Wow.
Which is pretty intense. Now, the first type of skateboard, I'm going to give you a little bit of history here, which dates back to the early 1900s, was actually more like a scooter. It then changed and had roller skate wheels attached to a 2x4. You see them there. Often the board had a milk crate nailed to it with handles.
I remember that, yes.
With the handles sticking out of control.
Didn't you see Back to the Future? They had some in that.
Yes, they did. Now, over the next 5 decades, kids kind of changed the look of the contraptions, and they took off the crate, and they were just cruising on the 2x4s, but they were steel wheels, not the rubber ones that they have now. Tens of thousands of roller skates were dismantled and joyfully hammered onto planks of wood. You'll see the examples there on the wall as well. The first commercial skateboard was manufactured in the early 1960s by companies such as Roller Derby and Makaha. The design and functionality of skateboards have significantly evolved, and the first patent of the skateboard was filed by Larry Stevenson. You kind of see the sketch of the patent when you enter the museum. It's kind of like on to the left on the floor. It was a key figure skateboard innovation, and in 1963. They filed the patent, of course. The museum has an extensive collection that is spread over 10,000 square feet. The museum houses the world's largest collection of skateboard memorabilia, featuring over 5,000 vintage skateboards. When I say it is from the floor to the ceiling filled of skateboards, I am not exaggerating. Now, there is a big wall. It's called the Hall of Fame, and it honors the pioneers and legends of skateboarding. Since its first induction ceremony in 2009, it has celebrated icons like Tony Hawk, Stacy Peralta, and Patty McGee, among others. The only name that sticks to me is Tony Hawk.
Yes.
Of course. And each year, new skaters who have made significant contributions to the sport are inducted into the Hall of Fame. Now, beyond just viewing exhibits, they do have private exhibits there too. Visitors can enjoy an indoor skate park, including a half pipe where beginners and experienced skaters can also try their skills. The museum also hosts skateboarding classes and events, making it a dynamic spot for learning and fun. And whether you're a lifelong skater or simply interested in learning, or maybe your kids want to learn about the history of skateboards, or they're skateboarders and they want to see more and learn about the sport, you definitely want to check out the museum. It's located in Simi Valley Town Center. The museum is easily accessible, and it offers free admission, which we love, free 99, free ski. It's open from Wednesdays to Sunday with various hours, and there's also a gift shop. So for those who want to take a piece of skateboarding history home, you can. Hours are Wednesday through Friday, 2 to 9. Saturday, they're open from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sunday, 11 to 7. And like I said, they're at 1555 Simi Town Center Way, number 230. And how ironic that the museum is right across from a Vans. And that's what,
yes,
that's what skateboarders wear, is Vans shoes. And I got to talk to the owner. The owner, his name is Todd Huber. Really, really nice guy. And he knows a lot about skateboards. Now, he was never a professional skateboarder, but he was a fan. So he said that he stopped quitting in the 80s and he needed a a new hobby. So he started collecting these skateboards. He opened his first mini museum in his garage in 1997, and people started sending him so many skateboards that he outgrew his garage. And so in 2018, he went to the Simi Valley Town Center. And people from around the world have donated skateboards that they either have in their garage or the attics, or they're like, hey, this is something that you might like. And they send it to him and he just nails it on the wall, basically. So it's a really, really cool place to see. And I highly recommend that if you were a skateboarder or if you like the history, definitely go see the evolution of the skateboard museum.
You don't know this, but I was a skateboarder back in the day. Now, I wasn't doing all the types of tricks that they do now, but absolutely. And my first pair of skates had those steel wheels that you're talking about, that really telling on my age now. So yeah, I go back. I was doing 720s and just some basic tricks back in the day, but most definitely. And I wore nothing but Vans through middle school, well into high school. That Van deck shoe, both laces and also slip-ons, those are the only shoes that I would wear until I got into Nikes when I started playing basketball in high school, because Nike was still coming on the scene.
Yes.
Then I think my first pair of Nikes was in 4th grade, but it was like Pro Kids at that point. It was not a big company. And by the time I got to high school, they really started leaning into basketball shoes. But other than that, I was wearing Vans and I was a skateboarder, 100%.
Well, and Vans, like I said earlier, skateboarders are known for wearing Vans. Plus, they're such a flat shoe, so it gives them the support to hold the grip on the skateboard. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody skateboard with a pair of Jordans on.
No,
you know what I mean? Oh, you know what? You just said something that's really cool. You said shoes. You were talking about shoes. If there is a museum, if anyone knows a museum of the evolution of shoes, I would definitely love to go, because I have the books, but I would, I'm like that show and tell, like I want to really see and take pictures. But I'm saying this is an amazing museum. I didn't think I would be interested, but sometimes, it's kind of like, try this tea and you may like it or you may not, but then you go, this is pretty good. So I really enjoyed it. Skateboarding Hall of Fame Skateboard Museum, Simi Valley. It's in the Simi Valley Town Center. You definitely want to go. Like I said, it's free 99. And one last thing, they do have on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 2 to 8. If you want to learn how to skateboard, if you have kids or grandkids that want to learn, they have that half pipe, and it's really cool.
Yeah, I'm at that point in life where I can say that I've done it, but I'm never going to do it again because I don't want to accidentally bust my ass, break a hip, or do something, because I'm not the kid I was, doing stupid stuff when I was 14 and 15 years old. But I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I've always been part of the reason why I don't buy Vans now is because I need more arch support.
Oh yeah.
And to your point, they're very flat on the inside. Yeah, but I used to love Vans.
Well, that's what happens, when you get older and you're 50 years of hip hop,
Yeah. The math is the math.
Right. The math got a math.
But also, before we go to break, I want you to make sure you promote your podcast, Frequency.
Yes. You could catch us anywhere. Just look up Frequency Podcast. That's Frequency, FREQUENSHE. Frequency Podcast. And you could also follow Amy Lopez, I would say my partner in crime, and myself at Nautica de la Cruz on Instagram as well.
What is some of the stuff that you'll be talking about?
Oh, I don't know. We talk, about my Freaky Fridays.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Let people know. Give them a little taste.
We talk about relationship. Amy and I talk about things that you are thinking, but we say it. And I have no shame. I have no filter.
They don't know that side of you. You are so prim and proper on Fridays here. They don't know about Freaky Fridays, Nautica.
Oh, I'm savage. I always say that. I am savage to the T. If you follow me on Instagram and see my Insta stories, you go, oh, she got a cute little smile. Honey.
There's something else going on there.
Like I've said before, you could take the girl out of Brooklyn, but you can't take the Brooklyn out of the girl. So yes, we talk about relationships. We give advice. We stay away a little bit from politics because Amy and I could get a little, but we just talk about family life. We talk about relationships. We talk about, the women of today and how there's so many single women that don't want to be in relationships. We talk about jobs. We talk about careers. We also get Dear Amy letters. So we read those out loud and we give our best advice. I don't think it's things that people really want to hear, but we're just going to give it to you raw.
The Frequent She podcast, Amy Lopez and our own Nautica De La Cruz. We'll have your hidden gem with Nautica just a moment.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Now for our hidden gem with Nautica De La Cruz.
Thank you, Mo. Today's hidden gem, her name is Sarita Tomalta. She was born in Santiago de Cuba. Her parents fled Cuba when she was just a young child with little money and stayed with family members until their family members were evicted. She lived in a car with her mother and her father for 1 week only, but that week made an impact in her life. The memories of sleeping in a car, being hungry, and having to use greenery around a bush to relieve herself made her feel uncomfortable. Her parents did end up finding a small apartment, and her mother found employment. She learned English at school, and she helped teach her parents English as well. Every day after dinner, that was kind of their thing. She loved playing teacher at home with her parents. She said it was that 1 hour of the day she felt like a boss, and she could tell her parents what to do because she was teaching them English. Sarita is now a successful recruiter for various companies and has always had this deep-seated desire to give back to her community. Despite her busy schedule and demanding career, she found herself yearning for a more meaningful way to make a difference. Some childhood memories or trauma, I think all of us can feel that, can affect you as an adult. So Sarita stumbled upon dreamcenter.org, a nonprofit organization that provides support and resources to those in need. Sarita began volunteering on available weekends, and she started with the food distribution program, where she helped prepare and serve meals to hundreds of homeless individuals. The gratitude and smiles she received in return were immensely rewarded. She quickly realized that a simple meal could make a significant impact on someone's day, offering not just nourishment, but also a sense of dignity and care. The Dream Center, based in LA, is a faith-based charitable organization committed to transforming lives and communities through various outreach programs. Its mission is to meet both immediate and long-term needs of individuals and families facing difficult circumstances. This includes providing food, shelter, education, job training, and counseling services. The Dream Center aims to empower people to overcome obstacles and build a brighter future, offering a more holistic approach to rehabilitation and support the addresses of physical, emotional, and spiritual needs. In the community, the Dream Center operates multiple programs and services designed to address pressing issues such as hunger, homelessness, and addiction. Their transitional housing program offers a safe space for individuals and families to regain stability, while their food truck outreach distributes meals to those in need across the city. The Dream Center also runs a residential recovery program for individuals struggling with substance abuse, providing comprehensive support to help achieve long-lasting sobriety. And I have to tell you, in the heart of Los Angeles, where the glitz and the glamour of Hollywood coexist with the stark realities of homelessness and poverty, there are countless stories of resilience and transformation. And I am so glad to get to meet people through other people or events where I can spark conversation and hear people's stories like Sarita Tomalta. So I have to say thank you, Sarita, for being a hidden gem and for making a difference one meal at a time. And I did some research. I looked at dreamcenter.org and the website is extensive. I made a phone call into the organization and they are really about empowering the people who need it the most and to get them back on their feet once again. So if you would like to either get involved or even donate monetary, go to dreamcenter.org. That's dreamcenter.org.
How did you even come across her?
To be honest with you, she was delivering food to one of my neighbors down the street.
There you go.
Yeah. So I saw the van and, I'm just one of those people, Mo. I ask a lot of questions. I guess that's why also I love in broadcast. I really should have been a detective or an FBI agent because I love to ask questions. And I saw the lettering, the dreamcenter.org on it. And I was like, anything with .org, I'm like, I got to see what it is. And so I asked her, some people get a little, I would say, not defensive, but it's like, I don't really want to talk to nobody. And I'm like, no, I was like, I would love to get your story, this and that. And so far. And so we had a conversation. It took her a minute to return my phone call, but we had a conversation and she told me, and then I was like, oh, you're Cuban? I'm Puerto Rican. Oh, okay. We have, some things in common. And she told me her story. And when she told me about her and her parents living in the car for a week, I was like, she's like, it was just a week, but that week traumatized me. And I know that when certain things happen to us, whether it's a day or a week or a month or a year, as we are young adults, young children, it could really affect us in the future. And I love the fact that she's done something about that. And I love the fact that people will try whatever time to give to an organization and just help out.
And I also appreciate you find that point of connection. It could be with you and her, Puerto Ricana and Cubana. I look at it as a faith-based organization. And that's something that, I always love to see when an organization is actually dwelling in their purpose. And if you're a faith-based organization, you're actually doing the work, which is connected to the faith. Far too often, we want to say that we're Christian this or Christian that, but there are no fruits which make it evident. There's no outward sign of their inner grace.
No, I completely agree with that. And I think that, whether you are faith-based or not, the people that start a charitable organization, they do it for a reason. They do it for not only magnificent causes that help other people. It's the spark within the human being that they want to connect, that they want to help, that they want to pay forward.
Very quickly.
Yes.
How can they reach the Dream Center again, please? Dreamcenter.org. You could volunteer, you could donate. The website is very extensive and it gives so much information. It's dreamcenter.org. And, sometimes whether you donate an hour of your day, a Saturday, anyway, you're still serving the community. And I've noticed, and I've been to downtown Los Angeles and just in the LA area, that the population of homelessness is just really rising. Well, you have to fill the need where you can fill the need. Do as much as you can with what you have right where you are.
Yes, sir. I believe that.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Movies, TV, and pop culture, Rahner Report with Mark Rahner.
Now on Later with Mo Kelly, Mark talks about movies and TV, pontificates about pop culture, Rahner Report with Mark Rahner. Mark Rahner right now. Mark Rahner right now. Mark Rahner right now.
Report with Mark Rahner.
KFI AM 640 is Later with Mo Kelly. It's that time in the show where Mark Rahner takes over with the Rahner Report.
Okay, Twisters is new in theaters today, but rather than run down a list of things I'd rather do than watch a movie about people chasing tornadoes with trucks, let's try something else. For starters, we could just run at full speed into a wall with our heads. Too much? We all have stuff we do outside work here at KFI. Mo has his martial arts classes, and he also does hits on other media. Tawala does the Lord's work at a school and on SoCal Saturday on weekends. And I know what you're thinking, but no, I won't do porn. I haven't hit rock bottom yet. Maybe soon, but not yet. I'm a writer. I've written a ton of comic books, articles about movies and TV, op-eds. I've also written for video games. And this week, a really cool one's out that I wrote the dialogue for. It is called Nobody Wants to Die. I know it sounds like that awful last James Bond movie, but it's a future noir mystery cyberpunk thriller game. It is beautifully rendered. It gets into some fairly sick and unsettling territory, and I could not be prouder of this thing. Think Blade Runner in terms of visuals, but if you get to be a detective and you have some wondrous future tech for examining crime scenes and manipulating time at the crime scenes, and as you get further and further into this story in this dystopian future where the bodies are piling up, you have a dawning realization of where you stand amid all the corruption and cruelty and murder. You know, perfect for kids. Nobody Wants to Die is made by Critical Hit Games, a newish company, and it should be available however you play this stuff. On Steam, where it's got a 9 out of 10 so far, fingers crossed. On consoles, all of it, everywhere. Here's some of it. This is an early trailer from about 4 months ago that I wrote, and we start off looking down an urban canyon of tall buildings and neons swarming with flying cars, which are still somehow vintage looking.
They say time heals all wounds. But that's bull.
Beep.
I'll tell you what time does. Time reveals secrets. Secrets that enslave us. Secrets that poison us. Secrets that rip us apart. Secrets I'm gonna drag into the light. Or they'll drag me to hell.
Now, that's Nobody Wants to Die, and the game looks absolutely stunning. And I've always loved noir movies. You know what those are. You've seen them. These hard-boiled detective movies that started in the 40s and 50s that had more cynical heroes, kind of anti-heroes coming out of World War II with all the disillusionment that entailed. These weren't guys who came home from the war and shouted, USA, USA. They were generally sarcastic, self-destructive, hit the bottle pretty hard. The stories often involve a femme fatale who's bad news, but still irresistible, you know, like real life. Very little chasing tornadoes around in trucks as well, you should know. You know, the Maltese Falcon with Humphrey Bogart. You've seen that. And we've talked about Monsieur Spade here not long ago, the Clive Owen series. That's really good. Out of the Past with Robert Mitchum. Lots of great newer ones, too. Or neo-noir, which they're called. Robert Altman's The Long Goodbye is one of my favorites. It's got Elliot Gould in it. It's really good. And if you haven't seen that one, you should. In Nobody Wants to Die, you play as a detective in New York in the year 2329 who's called back on the job to investigate an off-the-books case of mass murder of the city's elite. This detective has some issues, though. For instance, he's not in his first body anymore, and he's having trouble settling into his new body. In this future, you can transfer your mind, your consciousness to a new body when you wear out the old one, if you have the money. People who don't have the money, the have-nots, they do what they got to do, and it isn't always pretty. And again, I'm not talking about porn. The choices you make throughout this game affect the outcome. It's not a shooter, although there is some shooting. Very procedural, very visual, vibe-oriented, not the same old, same old. Just to be clear, the game's absolutely not for kids. Along with all the drinking and some fairly grisly stuff, there is a very generous amount of swearing, which was great fun writing, I'll tell you, by the way. There were many times when we were racking our brains trying to get the right phrasing for a line, and I'd ask, how about just an MFer here? Oh, yeah, that works. Perfect. Everybody wins. If we have time, I'll play a little bit more from the official launch trailer that's from this week. I've admitted here before, though, that self-promotion just makes my skin crawl, which can be a bit of a speed bump if you're working in the radio business. And I want you to know, also as a writer, I don't get one dime extra no matter how many or how few people buy this game. I have one payday when I finish my work. I'm only telling you about the game right now because I think it turned out to be something really special, and I think you're going to love it. You can see gameplay of Nobody Wants to Die on YouTube, along with reviews and all sorts of other stuff. And since radio is more of an oral medium, you kind of need to see this for yourself in a visual medium. I spent a few minutes looking up reviews last night. It's brand new this week, and my favorite was, surely someone wants to die. Hard to argue with that. Also, a user called Fartnight called the game a straight banger. That's good, right, Mo?
That's positive.
You appreciate a straight banger, or
banger
perhaps less often in your later years here.
Banger is always positive unless it's preceded by gang in a civic sense, in the criminal sense.
Yeah, we're a little ahead on time, so let's just hear a little bit more of the trailer where I didn't have to beep out a swear word in my own voice.
Having a goal is better than inactivity. An alternative to focusing on the symptoms and the memories. I'm 120 years old, and I don't have any strength left to keep recalling the past.
You're a goddamn departmental legend.
Legend, huh?
More like cautionary tale.
I need access.
Do you think I don't know why the chief put you on restricted duty?
No doubt about it, this case smells worse than a 2-week-old corpse in a storm drain.
Can I ask you something personal? Do you believe in life after death? Well, apparently in the past, people used to ask stuff like that all the time.
Because the average lifespan was less than 100 years.
And now, can we believe in anything beyond this? What if you could choose the bank or death?
Now, the bank is the memory bank, and if you're too poor to afford a new body, that's where your consciousness goes, and it stays there until you get some money or something changes. It's an absolutely stunning game. Nobody wants to die. I hope you check it out. I don't make any extra money telling you about it. I'm just excited about it. It really turned out to be a special thing.
Sounded like Scarlett Johansson was doing that narration there.
I don't know who did the narration. I really wanted to do the voice of the detective because as we're writing these lines of dialogue, I'm actually performing them over Skype with these guys at the company in Poland, and I so wanted to do this, but the guy who did it sounds terrific.
How did you fall into this?
Oh, nepotism and corruption, of course.
Okay.
No, it's like a lot of games or comics or things like that. It's kind of who you know combined with what you've already done that you can show people. So I had to display, if you'll pardon me for sounding immodest about this, a somewhat encyclopedic knowledge of noir films, because when I was back in grad school, I was going to do my dissertation on existentialism and film noir. So I've seen a lot of the stuff. And it's kind of the way I write and talk. Anyway.
No, it is definitely how you talk.
So if you play this game or if you just watch the walkthrough on YouTube, you'll kind of hear my voice, even though it's not me doing the actual narration.
I'm very intrigued, and congratulations are in order, regardless of whether you get another dime or not.
Thank you very much. It's a ton of fun. The game is Nobody Wants to Die.
So why did you keep it under wraps for so long?
Well, I had to sign an NDA.
Okay, that answers the question.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, they would have made me homeless if I violated the NDA. I'm sure you understand how those work.
Oh, yeah.
But it also was kind of a stealth release. When I was looking up the reviews last night, I saw that people felt that it was just kind of dropped out of nowhere. There wasn't really any big build up to this. And I don't know if that's because the company is kind of a newer company or what, but I feel like it's making a big splash coming right out based on what I've seen so far. The reviews are terrific, and I hope it keeps going that way.
Well, many congratulations to you, and hopefully you'll get to voice it next time.
Yeah, for God's sake, what's a guy have to do? Who do I have to sleep with?
Well, don't ask that question because someone will give you an answer.
Oop, look at the time.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And let me tell you about this next cool promotion that we're doing. Barbie the movie in concert featuring the Barbie Land Sinfonietta, yeah, at the Hollywood Bowl on July 27th. That's next Saturday. Barbie fans of all ages are invited to dance the night away with the groundbreaking live-to-film concert experience. It's coming for one night only. Only got one shot at this. At the world-famous Hollywood Bowl, immersing fans in the soaring score and songs of last year's record-shattering film. It's produced and orchestrated by celebrated Tony Award-winning conductor Macy Schmidt and the Barbie Land Sinfonietta, and Barbie will come to life through immersive outdoor sound. If you want to purchase tickets, you can get it at hollywoodbowl.com. But we will be giving away of tickets on Tuesday, July 23rd. Can't wait for that. So giving you a heads up, you do not want to miss Tuesday's show, July 23rd, as we will be giving away a pair of tickets to Barbie the movie in concert at the Hollywood Bowl. And also, the phone lines are open, getting ready to play Name That Movie Cult Classic. Give us a call. We're just playing for fun. Just letting you know right now. Playing for fun, but who knows? We might even slip in a prize. No guarantees either way. Give us a call at 800-520-1KFI. 800-520-1KFI to play Name That Movie Cult Classic. Don't call up and say, hey, did I win something? Were you giving away something? No, we're getting ready to play Name That Movie Cult Classic. 800-520-1KFI. 800-520-1534. Well, I hope you've seen the season finale of The Boys. I saw it last night, and it was even better than I expected it to be. It was as over the top as I hoped it would be, explicit, gory, ridiculous, and yet moved the story forward. There were some unexpected events, and it reminded me that every character, as far as I'm concerned, is expendable, and that makes the show appointment watching. You just don't know who's going to make it from one episode to the next. All I can say is can't wait for season 5, the final season. Don't know what to tell everyone else, but if you don't like it, that's a you problem.
There's no way you cannot like what I have dubbed the greatest season finale of any show ever made. Why? Because every time we watch a season finale of a show, we're always left hanging. There's always something like you didn't button something up. There's a story that they started that they didn't end with the character. We're always left hanging. With this season finale, they brought things to a close that they brought up in seasons 1, 2, and 3. There were through lines through all those seasons that they buttoned up and brought to closure to a point where it's like, hey, everything we said that was leading up to this one, this has happened. But there is something major on the other side, and hold on to your butts because it is going to be insane.
They said that season 5 next season will be the final season, so there's nothing to leave. There's nothing to leave on the table. They're going to end the story. And if you're not familiar with the story, it's kind of hard to explain, but The Boys is basically about what if superheroes were corporate entities and a-holes, and how would that play out in a political sense, in a capitalism sense, in a media sense. They address all of that, and it's very much set in our world, but names have been changed, networks have been changed, but you can tell they're making a statement about present day America, but throwing some superheroes on top of it.
They really ramped up the current satire in this season much more than the previous ones, and it is just masterful and hilarious and outrageous.
I love the fact that they knew the tension that was going to be felt going into this episode, because again, they're talking about some real world issues in a very satirical way, and it just so happened that what we thought was going to happen in this season finale, unfortunately, it mirrored the events of the attempted assassination of presidential nominee Trump. And we were all worried that they weren't even going to air the episode. It's like, how are you going to air an episode where the plot, and this is all a part of the story, where the plot is to overthrow the government, and possibly assassinate the president? That was a big fear going into this.
But that was a season-long story arc.
Season-long story arc. The warning that they put up front, it was like, okay, they've handled it. They're aware of what we're aware of. They're very aware of how people could take this story. And I loved it. I cannot wait to get home so I can watch it again tonight. It took me forever to watch it because I kept rewinding, saying, no, you didn't just do that.
It's visually over the top. It's storyline over the top. There is nothing out of bounds. There's nothing off limits. There's some things that I saw like I can't unsee.
Oh God,
Dirty things.
Yeah,
Dirty things.
Dirty, sucio, muy sucio, very, very dirty, very dirty. And and I honestly care for all the characters. Usually, they're like 3 or 4 that you don't care about. No. You get emotionally invested in the characters because there's real danger for all of them. There's stakes. They're real relationships, and you don't know what's going to happen to them.
Yeah,
you just don't know.
This is a master class of writing, and this is why, with the popularity of The Boys, it is again proof positive that people are not suffering from superhero fatigue. They are suffering from piss poor writing,
yes,
bad delivery. If you stick to the script and give us something that we want to see and make it exceptional, we will tune in every. And this might go down as one of the highest rated, most viewed shows on Prime. Absolutely.
And that says a lot.
A lot.
We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
We tried less stimulating talk. It ended poorly. KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live